batalha de ontem, as polícias saíram vitoriosas, tirando, repito, as nossas 4 vítimas, que foram os 4 policiais mortos. O resto foram criminosos. Não era a intenção de ninguém. Queríamos ter prendido todos com vida, mas foi uma consequência da retaliação que eles acabaram fazendo e do uso desproporcional da força que aqueles criminosos fizeram.
The purpose is political, and the bodies they are taking are ours. The bodies of black people and poor people. Enough is enough. We can't take it anymore.
All right, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Rachak, Kodash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth, and wherever you may be, to I say Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. All right, I'm going to get into a quick hit little lesson here. Just based off some news. Just 2 different things, as you see one on the screen here. So over 130 deleted and bloody crackdown on drug gangs in Rio de Janeiro. All right, the death toll in Rio's deadliest police operation in history rose to 132 people. The state authorities say sparking outrage and a reckoning. All right, so Rio's deadliest crackdown on drugs gangs spark outrage. I think we might be able to play this. Let me see here. Of course, there's an ad. Actually, let me turn my Bluetooth off. I'm thinking about it.
Hoje eu estou sem palavras para conseguir trazer a sensação do significado, da gravidade do que a gente está vendo nesse dia, né? Desde ontem, virando a madrugada.
É certo? Que operação é essa? Mudou o quê? Usaram com algum esporte, algum estudo, alguma coisa de melhoria aí para os jovens? Para mudar a vida dos jovens? Não mudaram nada, pô.
I'm gonna pause this. Okay, yeah, she said something about changing the lives of the young people. All right, and that's part, where, one of the points I want to make. All right, because Israel is scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. Okay, and which means also what? That the prophets are scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. Okay, Jeremiah, what is it, 29? I believe it's Jeremiah 29, 15, somewhere around there. The Lord has raised you up prophets in Babylon. All right, here in the West, but He's also raised up prophets all around the earth. Okay, so there's no excuses. All right, for a lot of these people, man, where somewhere or another, where it be prophet in their area or by way of the internet, they saw and didn't believe. Maybe even went as far as mocked and scoffed or joked or whatever the case may be. Okay, and ultimately, the basic flat line of the message is, it's all judgment. Okay, it's all judgment of Yahweh Bashim Awashah. Okay, so she says you have it's something about introducing, the something about changing the youth and all. Well, the Bible is what changes the youth and the elderly and anyone in between. Okay, the scriptures is what puts a change to people's lives, not because the police came in and did some community service or some organization, the whole community service talk, stuff like that. Okay, so let's play some more. So those must be guns that they probably took from off of them.
Quem optou pelo confronto foi neutralizado. A reação da polícia depende da ação do criminoso. É simples assim.
He says the police's response depends on the criminal. So I guess you know, he's saying without actually saying that, hey, we came, they met us with violence, so we gave them violence back, and we won. Basically, what he's saying.
A batalha de ontem, as polícias saíram vitoriosas. Não era a intenção de ninguém. Queríamos ter prendido todos com vida, mas foi uma consequência da retaliação que eles acabaram fazendo.
You got protests happening, which, as I mentioned before, you got protests happening all over the earth about all different types of situations. As a matter of fact, let me let this play out first, and then I'll get that, just in case the video, doesn't come back how we wanted to.
Não é possível que as pessoas não se incomodem com isso. Será que é porque não é o seu filho? É os nossos filhos? É o filho da mãe preta que está dentro da favela? Quantas mais ainda vão chorar os seus filhos?
All right, and this really is nothing just yet. All right, the Lord hasn't even cranked up the knob on Jacob's trouble. Okay, and but let's just get to the point. Zephaniah 3:5, the just Lord, all right, the just Lord. I should have pulled this up in the blue letter. Okay, the just Lord Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. All right, so if they were supposed to be gang members or whatever, then they're going to get, ultimately what comes with gang members, all right, which is a gang death. And that's what happened. It just happened to be by the hands of the police. Okay, those that are set up to stop the gangs, right? I do want to let me see if I can grab the blue real quick and get that Zephaniah. Just to grab the word just. Okay. Zephaniah 3. Okay, and 5. The just Lord Yahweh is in the midst thereof. Okay. Tazadak. All right, Tazadak, which goes back to the word Tazadak, which means righteousness. Righteous. So just, see, lawful, righteous, just and righteous in government, right in one's cause, just in one's cause, just and righteous in conduct and character, righteous as justified and vindicated, there you go, by the Most High, okay? Right, correct, lawful, okay? Because his judgment shall stand. What he's saying, Isaiah 46:10. Isaiah 46:10. You get 9. Remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the highest, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, because that which means even that event right there, that was declared before the earth was founded. All right, before the earth was formed, that situation was already planned to be today. All right, in these times. Okay. Saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. All right, he's the just Lord. I believe there's another one in let me see. Is that Deuteronomy 32, 39? Let me see here. Yeah. See now that I, even I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, I deleted these people. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Okay, just like as we transition to our next, piece of article here. Was Hurricane Melissa? Okay, I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Okay, nobody. Oh, let's get this while I'm thinking about it. 4 and 7. Job 4 and 7. Right? Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? See? Where were the righteous cut off? Whoever perished being innocent. All right? Once again, this is judgment from the Lord. Let's see if we can bounce back to that Zephaniah. I want to get something here. There it is right there. All right. It says that this is in the midst thereof. It says that he will not do iniquity. See, injustice, unrighteousness, wrong, violent deeds of injustice. Why? Because we just read it in Job 4 and 7. All right. Whoever perishes being innocent. Okay. So the Lord brings judgment upon the wicked. Right? Is that not what we're reading in Zephaniah 3 and 5? Right? The just Lord. Okay. Read it one more time before we go on. The just Lord Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. See, he's not going to do any wrong. He can't sin or whatever the case may be. Every morning doeth he bring his judgment to light. He felleth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. So what's the unjust? Oh, I got the shame. Well, here's I get Bashar. It's a shameful thing. I meant to get unjust. Okay. Unjust one, perverse one, unrighteous one, you see? And these are supposed to be what? So-called gang members. Where is it at? I think it's under here. Gang members, all right? And these people, yeah, I mean, yeah, these people lost family members, children, or however the case may be, all right? I guess sons or, whatever the case may be, whoever is in the fold, all right? And you can see some of these bodies are laid out and still uncovered, all right? But yeah, but it's ultimately judgment from the Heavenly Father, all right? So the bodies of the dead men lay in a single row on the pavement of a square on the fringes of Rio de Janeiro. Many were stripped down to their underwear, residents said, so that the relatives could more easily identify them, which that's actually shame, all right, upon a dead body, man. All right. The person's already dead, but then you strip them down to the underwear, right? Others were draped by bed sheets, shielded from the crowds and the cameras of journalists and passersby. All right. So it says, overnight, dozens of the corpses have been pulled out of a nearby wooded area, sharply raising the death toll of a large-scale police operation targeting drug gangs and laying bare the sheer extent of the violence that had terrorized this low-income area just hours earlier and left many in Brazil stunned. All right. But see, our people cry about, people dying, being deleted, but I bet they weren't crying out about the drugs. In fact, some of those, crying mothers were probably had sons that were supplying them with money from the drugs that they were selling. Who knows? Okay. More bodies kept coming, said Rini Silva, a community leader from a neighborhood where the raids unfolded. And yeah, that one lady said, these are the sons or children of a black mother or something that's like that, she said, right? Leader from a neighboring where the raids unfolded estimated that volunteers have retrieved 50 to 60 bodies overnight. Mothers, wives, children were there crying. Okay. On Wednesday, it was still unclear exactly how many people were killed in the deadliest crackdown on organized crime in Rio's violent history of confrontations between the police and gangs. Early estimates from the state's public defender office placed the toll at 132 people, including 4 police officers. So there were 4 casualties on the officer side, but 132 so-called other gang members. Questions still lingered over how the vast operation had unfolded, whether innocent bystanders were caught in the bloody battle. Oh, yeah, I forgot. We read that up above. Yeah, so they're wondering if there were innocent bystanders that were caught amidst the bullets flying, and who exactly was responsible for all the deletings. And on Wednesday, an official acknowledged that it had failed to achieve its main objective, capturing a top gang leader. So 132 people, were deleted, but they still didn't manage to catch the top gang leader, supposedly. For many residents, the first sign of trouble came around 3:30 a.m. on Tuesday with the frenzied barking of the dogs. Not long after, they said, the internet and the power cut out. Wow, they really went into a real raid. Like around 5, just before dawn, they came the crackling sounds of gunfire as a battle erupted between police officers and gang members. We woke up to the sounds of gunshots, Mr. Silver recalled. Gunshots from here, from there, from everywhere. Some 2,500 police officers and dozens of armored vehicles had descended on the area. Right, 2,500 police officers. And I don't know exactly how many gang members there were. That's just the 132 were just the bodies that were collected. So I don't know how many gang members there were in full number That's just the 132 that were deleted. But it says 2,500 police officers and dozens of armored vehicles. All right, so this probably was a real large drug, operation. Had descended on the area, scouring for drug traffickers they suspected were linked to a powerful criminal group known as the Red Command. Overhead, 2 police helicopters hovered. Gang members retaliated using drones to drop explosives. Wow, they used explosives on this. Okay, explosives from the sky, according to police images. Plumes of smoke filled the sky above the cinder block homes as traffickers set fire to cars, using them as barricades to block the police from entering. So this is something like you would see in a movie, man. Okay, some daggone Fast and Furious type, high adrenaline scene. Okay, caught in the middle, residents hid their homes or rushed out to work in other parts of the city, dodging the hail of bullets. Schools canceled classes, health centers were shuttered, and businesses kept their doors closed. It was pure despair, said one resident who asked to speak anonymously because of worries about retaliation from the gang controlling the neighborhood. See, so the gang is terrorizing the neighborhood. All right. You see that stuff in the movies, right? Like mafia movies, all right? This is your pizza shop. You want to keep running it. You're going to need help, protecting your business. What do you mean? I don't have any problem. And they'll start bashing the window or, start trashing stuff. It's like, yeah, you see, help, problem, right? It's letting you know that we're going to be the problem if you don't pay us, in other words, all right? So, yeah, because of the worries about retaliation from the gang controlling the neighborhood, says it all. I ran and put my kids in. So I guess the police got fed up or whatever. I don't know. And I ran and put my kids in my room, the safest corner of the house. We stayed there, not sure what was happening outside. By afternoon, the chaos had spilled over to other parts of the city as members of the gang hijacked buses and used them to block roads across Rio's northern and western fringes, including one leading to the airport. Late into the evening, gunfire was still ringing through the area, according to residents. When silence finally fell, they recalled it was pitch dark again. Trying to see what else is here. I don't think we have to read all of it. No, then they give me Mike. Let me see. So we read that already. It says through the night, residents combed through nearby woods. By Wednesday, they had recovered 70 corpses there. It says the extraordinarily bloody episode shocked Rio, a city that is no stranger to scenes of gangs battling the police. Well, that's how America's about to be in a second here. Okay, a whole civil unrest. There's gonna be bodies everywhere, which the scriptures speak about that. All right, it says they're gonna be like dung cast out into the streets. Right? Nobody's gonna be burying nobody. Nobody be going to a funeral. All right, you might be crying, but it won't be to a funeral. Okay, it's gonna be people laid out, bloody, starving, deleted, women raped, and all these kind of things of that nature. You can read more on this. I think we got what we needed from there. The group, born in Rio's prisons in the late 1970s, has expanded rapidly in recent years and now commands territory across Brazil, including in the Amazon region. So this was a major operation, man. Okay, this is a big game. Okay, which I think they said they didn't catch the leader. All right. So yeah, over 130 killed in bloody crackdown on drug gangs in Rio de Janeiro. That says the death toll in Rio's deadliest police operation in history rose to 132 people. The state authorities say, sparking outrage and a reckoning. All right. So let's pause right here. Okay, jumping over here to Reuters. Hurricane Melissa leaves 49 dead in Caribbean. Right, churns north. Churns, or in other words, it's turning north. Right. Excuse me. Okay, we all know that this is recent. Let's see what the pictures got here. It's 10 photos. Just completely, devastated, decimated. And as we said before, as we were reading the last article, Israel is everywhere, all over the earth. That's part of the curses that will be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All All right. So that means what? That the prophets are scattered all over the earth, where they be uh, 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 in the physical or on the internet. All right. At the end of the day, one way or another, everybody on the earth has had to hear about the Israelites by now. Okay. Summary: at least 30 confirmed dead in Haiti, 19 in Jamaica. All right. 30 in Haiti, 19 Jamaica. That's the Let's say okay. They say 49. I thought it said 48 for a second. So yeah, that's the 49. Forecaster estimates up to $52 billion in damages. Melissa was among strongest ever storms at landfall. Hurricane passing to the west of Bermuda. All right. So we get a little bit of this. Hurricane Melissa's confirmed death toll climbed to 49 on Thursday, according to official reports, after wreaking destruction across much of the northern Caribbean and picking up speed as it headed past Bermuda in the North Atlantic. Authorities in Haiti, which was not directly hit but nevertheless suffered days of torrential rains from the slow-moving storm, reported at least 30 deaths and 20 more missing. At least 23 people, including 10 children, died in Haiti's southern town of Petit Goâve when a river burst its banks. Roads, houses, and farmlands were also damaged by the rains. Jamaica's information minister confirmed at least Jamaica's damn. So like Jamaica's information minister confirmed at least 19 deaths, but said authorities were counting search and rescue efforts. The storm left hundreds of thousands without power, ripped roofs. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to say ripped roofs off buildings, and scattered fields with rubble. Jamaica's military has called on reserve personnel to report for duty to help with relief and rescue operations. Melissa made landfall in southwestern Jamaica on Tuesday as a powerful Category 5 hurricane, the Caribbean nation's strongest ever storm to directly hit its shores, and the first major hurricane to do so since 1988. Wind speeds were well above the minimum level for the strongest hurricane classification. It says well above the minimum level, right, for the strongest hurricane classification. Forecasters at AccuWeather said it tied in second place for strongest ever Atlantic hurricane on record in terms of wind speed when it struck land. All right, so that's major. The forecaster estimated $48 billion to $52 billion in damage and economic loss across the Western Caribbean. Melissa also hit eastern Cuba, where some 735,000 evacuated, but as of Thursday, no deaths were reported there, despite extensive damage to homes and crops. Right? At 11 o'clock p.m., Melissa was a Category 2 storm 264 kilometers, 164 miles west of the North Atlantic British island territory of Bermuda. According to the U.S. National Hurricane Center, packing maximum sustained winds of 100 miles per hour. All right. And so there's more here to this article. All right. The front page of Thursday's Jamaica Observer newspaper read devastation. All right. I actually use that. And it's pretty much, I mean, you get the gist of it. You can look into it yourself. You probably have already by now. All right, so Hurricane Melissa leaves 49 dead in Caribbean churns north, and which actually could bring us back to that Zephaniah once again. The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He fell not, with the unjust knoweth no shame. Now, before we close, I do want to hit another point here. Okay, and I'm gonna pull this up, and we'll get to it. All right. So yeah, Isaiah 32. Okay. Let's just pull this up. So yeah, Isaiah 32:9. Okay. So the reason why I'm reading this is because there were two chicks, right? Two chicks. All right. No man. Okay. Probably got children. Who knows? But going around doing what? Oh wait. Let me pull up a second book because I can get that scripture real quick. Because I know that's in the Apocrypha. Gad abroad, right? Gad abroad. Okay. See the Apocrypha. Here you go. I didn't go to chapter. Well, I guess I could have stayed there. Context. Okay. I should read what's on the screen. Why not? Ecclesiastes 25 and 23. A wicked woman abated the courage, maketh an heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. All right. If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. Because women are supposed to be, under subjection to their men. All right. Let's go a step further with this here. See if we can get something else out of here. Gad abroad, if it'll get anything for us. To walk about, to rove or ramble idly or without any fixed purpose. You see? To walk about, to rove or ramble idly or without any fixed purposes. Okay? And that's exactly what those two women were doing there. All right? That you will see in the video that will play after this. All right? They talking about they were being tourists, right? And she was the one chick, I think it was the lighter skinned chick, saying that they just want to they don't care where they go in America, they just want to get a flight back back home to America. I can't remember, I don't think she said home, but basically I'm guessing they were from here in Babylon. So they don't care where they go as long as they get a flight back out of here, because you were out there gadding abroad. Okay, well, you should have been at home as a wife with a family, overlooking the children. Instead, you running around in the earth doing what you want to do, not being a woman, which means female servant. See, so it says what? Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. So they will probably cross seas doing who knows what. Okay, probably having a funky good time, right? So back to Isaiah 32 and 9 says, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. All right, having fun, able to do so. Manipulate the system, put the man down, and so on and so forth. Which gives them, that sense of that they're better than a man. They don't need one, or they can, I can do bad all by myself, or I'm equal, or not. Some of them think they're greater than a man, and all these different things of that nature, right? Give ear unto my speech. Okay, and how do they hear? Just like we mentioned before, everybody hears by the mouths of the prophets, man. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Okay, tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled. I'm gonna get this word vintage. I've gone into it before. Let me pull a blue back up real quick, just to pull up the word vintage. I intend this to be short, but it's okay. All right, it's not of my will. All right, so where is it? Here it is, vintage right here, verse 10. All right, Batazayar. All right, Batazayar. Okay, vintage just says vintage. So Batazar. See what that says. To gather, restrain, fence, fortify, make inaccessible, and close, to cut off. All right, same thing there. Secrets, mysteries, inaccessible things to be withheld, to fortify. All right, so the vintage shall fail. I wonder what that reads in another translation. Let's get this. AMP. In little more than a year, you will tremble with anxiety. You unsuspecting and complacent. That's a word right there. Complacent, okay? Complacent, showing smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself or one's achievements, okay? And the average woman today is what? Self-centered. They're all about self, right? Unsuspecting and complacent women, for the vintage has ended and the harvest will not come. Tremble ye women who are carefree. Tremble with fear, you complacent ones. Strip, undress, and wear sackcloth on your waist in grief. See? And see what the Lord is about to do to Babylon the Great. All these women are about to be humble, all right? And brothers have been going to different lessons like that about, like concerning like Isaiah, or is it, that's in 2. So it got to be Isaiah 4 and 1, right? Where 7 women shall take hold on one man, okay? Because that's a man's right in this world, all right, to have multiple women. But a woman belongs to one man, period, for all of her life, all right? And so, by the ways of, today's society, especially Babylon the Great, right? There's this thing where women think that one man belongs to them. No, you belong to that man and one man. And if he has another woman, then that's that man's God-given right as a man, all right? We particularly speak about Israelite men, but you get the point, okay? And so out of desperation and out of survival, they're gonna seek after men as the groups. Okay, they're not gonna care that because they're gonna want to survive, and they're gonna be seeking after men of the Lord. Okay, let's get the NLT on those same scriptures. Um, Listen, you women who lie around in ease. Wow, beautiful. Because when you go into the topic of the No Snap November, all right, which you have a lot of white people on these different government benefits, all right, who milk the system more than Jake, but they put Jake as the face of, especially the end of. Okay, SNAP, the EBT, whatever, all right, WIC, uh, uh, um, the HUD, all right, all these housing things, which they'll end up being able to get a house, but they don't push Jake that information. Most Jake don't know that, all right. But anyways, listen, you women who lie around in ease, listen to me, you who are so smug. In a short time, just a little more than a year, you careless ones will suddenly begin to care, for your fruit crops will fail and the harvest will never take place. So let's just go back and get this in the KJV, and we'll end it off. Just to make a quick point, because I saw that in the one video where those women are over there. When the storm came, when the hurricane came, let me say what it is, a hurricane. When the hurricane came, they were over there being so-called tourists, all right? They were tourists, basically, women gathered abroad, all right, and got caught up in a hurricane, all right? And and it's beautiful how the Lord allowed them to be interviewed and not deleted so that we can know, all right? Yeah, see, you got this going on. Women over there who should be home, should be parents, all right? But instead, traveling all over the earth, going Jamaica, going here, going there, all right, and not worrying about the family and the home, because they couldn't have men. If they got men, they got simps, all right, because they all the way over there, okay, with no men around, okay. So, anyways, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Let me get ease real quick. I'm just curious. I got the wrong verse. That's voice. Uh, what happened? Oh, I got backed up too far. I want to get that word ease while I'm here. Ease. Sha'anan, at ease, quiet, secure. Look, careless, one time, all right, arrogant. Wow, arrogant, that's heavy though, arrogant, okay? One at ease, arrogance. Oh, I missed that. I skipped over that. Little security, pride, arrogance. Man, you can't make that up. You can't make that up. Let's see what else is here. Sha'an, to be at ease, be at peace, be at rest. Not so much as that one, but that was heavy though. Security, pride, arrogance, and all that is being broken because these women are about to be humble, man. Rise up, you women that are at ease. Hear my voice, you careless daughters. Give ear into my speech. And I know it's supposed to be about the whole hurricane, but hey, this is part of the lesson too because they were in the video that you're going to see. Many days and years shall you be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble, tremble, ye women that are at ease. Let's get tremble. Why not? Right, Harad. Was I right the first time? Yeah, Harad. All right, to tremble, quake, move about, be afraid, be startled, be terrified. See, because the Lord, He's opened up Jacob's trouble, and it's about to amplify. We're at the beginning stages, but He's about to amplify it. Okay. Oh wait. Okay. See. Here we go. Where's the How do I get? Let me see. To go or come trembling with prep, to cause to tremble, to drive in terror, rout an army. There's something slightly different there. How do I get? Okay, let me just do this. Oh, here it is. Yep. Here's another one. Just another small point. Virgins. I think it says shall mourn. We can just go right to the scripture. Okay, pull up the Apocrypha. All right, Brother Ezra's here. All right. 2nd Ezra 16:31. Even so, in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword, and the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel therethrough. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. And here's the answer why. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. And a lot of these women are going to be deleted. They're going to be eaten. All right. They're going to be raped, and other different things are going to tragic things are going to happen. All right, because of what? Because they're not going to have any hedge of protection, which is going to be a man. It says a man shall be a covert. Let me get that. A covert from the storm. And they're going to be seeking after the men of the Lord. Okay. It is Isaiah 4:6. And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place. Actually, that's not the one. For a place of refuge, and for a covert from the storm and rain. Here it is, Isaiah 32:2, back at the top. All right. And a man shall be as in hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in the weary land. In a weary land. Okay, because it's going to be the men of the Lord that these women are going to be seeking after. Right? Not just any man. They are going to be seeking after any man, but it's going to come to the realization that any man ain't going to help them. It's going to be a man of the Lord, because the man of the Lord is going to be protected by the Lord himself, right? Through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shah. Standards are going to be lifted. Okay. I think we got everything. I can't even find the article. Might have been from here. Okay, so we pretty much got everything that we needed. So yeah. So I mean, there you go. And I'm gonna use that. What it says. That word was devastated. All right. Maybe we'll use that, devastated, in judgment. But we'll end it right here. Lord, will you edify? Shalom.
Urgent search and recovery mission now underway in Jamaica after Hurricane Melissa slammed into the island. The scope and size of the devastation laid bare. Prime Minister Andrew Holness declaring the entire country a disaster area. Some towns completely cut off. St. Elizabeth Parish taking a direct hit from the historic hurricane.
Yesterday was horrible, horrific, terrifying, the worst day of my entire life, the worst experience of my entire life.
We saw treacherous conditions firsthand while traveling across the island. Roads washed away, vehicles buried in rubble. The town of Santa Cruz is completely devastated. A wall of water and rock came from the mountains right through the center of town, destroying everything. Getting back to normal will take months. Most of the island without power. Tourists like Alexis and Taviana forced to ride out the storm, doing whatever they can to get home.
At this point, we don't even mind if we go anywhere in the U.S. We just want to get a flight off the island.
But that may be harder than expected, given airports also sustaining damage. Water rushing into the Sangster International Airport, alarms blaring. Now, there is some good news here on the horizon. Airports all around Jamaica are beginning to open up, which means that much-needed aid is starting to fly in, while those stranded tourists will soon be able to get out.
I know they want to get out. All right. Ike, thank you.
Well, turning now to Hurricane Melissa, search and rescue efforts have started in Jamaica after the eye of the hurricane hit the southwestern part of the island Tuesday afternoon. A path of destruction was left behind. Parts of Cuba and the Bahamas have also been hit by the storm that has now been downgraded to a Category 2 hurricane. Right now, there are reports of at least 48 deaths because of this storm.
Vale.